And a very good morning to you again, and welcome to a beautiful edition of this program, Sports Today, where we talk about sporting events around the world, internationally, locally, and of course globally. I'm your uncle, as always, Ebere Ugonna. Well, today is quite exciting because I have a big fish in the house. Well, it's been amazing for days now. I've been having some very big personalities in the house, ranging from Mary Onyali, to the likes of Jane NWC, FIFA intermediary agent. And now I have Chika Nwankwo, a team manager of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria in the year 2012-2013 that took place in Turkey. He's here with me in the studios. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you in the program. I mean, you're looking so happy and excited this morning. You want to tell us a secret about it?
I'm always excited. If I have to cross 50 and looking like that shows happiness is who I am.
You can imagine 50 and looking like that. Well, it's good to have you on the show, I must confess. You were the team manager of the Flying Eagles in the year 2012-2013, and you took that team to Flying Eagles. And I remember you've actually been in ABS that same year, bringing the Flying Eagles here. What was it all about? What was the experience all about?
Fine experience, always good working with these younger players. When I see them now in the national team like Nwankwo, I feel so happy and elated that they grew under my mentorship as their team manager. We were in Anambra 2012, I think it was Diogo Hotel, and it was an exciting experience. I wanted our people to feel the vibe of what the national team is all about. The government of Anambra State then did their best to host us, because after the hosting, we went for the AYC in Algeria, and we got the bronze medal, which qualified us for the World Cup in Turkey. Fortunately, we couldn't cross the first round in Turkey. We came back. But that was a good experience for me, because it gave me a preview of what football is as far as Nigeria is concerned, especially the younger ones, how to groom them, maturing into the Super Eagles.
Yeah, basically, this is quite interesting. Hearing you talk about a lot of players, from the under-17 in your era, playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria now is quite amazing. But let's go back to what's happening, or what happened to the under-17 recently in Nigeria. Of course, a lot of people were expecting them to really do so well in the tournament that took place in Poland, but it wasn't the case. And of course, Coach Paul Igbogun came out to say there was a whole lot of issues and they shouldn't blame him for the poor performances of the Eagles. What do you think could be responsible for why the Flying Eagles of Nigeria are not flying anymore?
I was so shattered, because I know that the age grade competitions will do so well in it. And when this set was assembled, at least I attended some of their warm-up games in Abuja at the technical center. If I didn't watch their game, it should be up to 20. I followed them around the country to watch them play and see what they can give. I had my reservations when I saw that team. Maybe not for today, but I had my reservations. One, how the team was picked. I had so much concern. I had to talk with the present team manager and the secretary of the team, Ali, on this team that is not showing signs of, they are not showing signs of a team that should be playing together. They are not showing signs of a team that will do well. They are not showing signs of a team that will go far as far as this competition is concerned. I had my reservations when the coach was appointed, but when my NFF looked at him and appointed him, I had my reservations about his assistants that will not be, because many times I went for their training, you don't see the assistant coaches. I only see the goalkeeper trainer, who was the goalkeeper trainer then when I was there after Aloyago left. Now, what is the job of the assistant coach? You look at this team when you're playing the simple games from the 3-3-4-4 small post before you play the wider game. They see things and tell the coaches, and tell the main coach. But unfortunately, they are not always there, because they have their teams in the local level where they are coaching, probably paying their bills, so they pay allegiance to that, only for them to assemble when they were going to the World Cup. That aside, there are certain things you can just say on...
I understand, because...
Picking these boys. There are certain things I will say after they crashed out, but I still believe that the buck stops on his table as the chief coach.
Okay.
Nobody should impose players on you When I was with Obu, nobody imposes players on him.
But you know better. I mean, because, we are actually outside and we make do with most of the news we actually, read and hear on the internet. You know what is really going on when it comes to this sporting activities, especially the World Cup, the Nations Cup, and one of the view. Paul Aigbogun came out to say there were a lot of corrupt practices that took place, and he had us players, but it looked as if they didn't allow him use the players he was supposed to use. Who are we to blame for that?
No, I will blame the coach. I'll blame the coach. Every day, at least you go to training 2 times and you see these players. If there are corrupt practices, that means you're not in charge of the team. You should be in charge as the chief coach.
So what about this godfatherism they talk about? Of course, we heard that in politics.
You resist it as the chief coach. You resist. If it's coming on you, falling on your nerves, then you leave the team. But unfortunately, most of them won't want to leave. Now it's failure. Who are you blaming? It's you. It's on your CV. You didn't do anything with the team as far as I'm concerned. I had my personal reservations about the team. The last time they played one Water FC in Abuja and they were well up to almost 3-0. I told them this is not a team preparing for the World Cup. Water FC is a local team in Abuja there and almost scored how many goals against us? I said, no, this is not the team. Then is when Paul should have been shouting. The federation will listen to you. If they don't want to listen to you, then make the noise. Let the sporting confraternity of Nigeria hear you. So why are you shouting now after you crashed out? Whatever activities that went on the ground is nobody's business. How are you sure? Are you sure you're not part of it?
Okay.
My brother, the national team is an intricate thing, believe you me. And most times you just see it with stomachache. Sometimes you say it. Sometimes you just notify NFF. This is what is going on for them to look into it. But if they don't want to, there's nothing you can do.
Now, okay, let's still come back to the Flying Eagles because you were a big part of it. It looks as if we're really having issues when it comes to scouting players. And when you look at the Super Eagles or the kind of team that will be assembled or that is assembled to go for this tournament, they end up not, participating in what people are expecting of them. We don't get to see it. Now, when we talk about the scouting of players, young players, within that age range to participate in this tournament, why does it look as if we're still lacking at getting the best out of it?
Okay, yeah, you could say we're lacking, but now let me tell you. When when Sani Lulu was the chairman of NFF, we started a program. We had under 13, we had under 15, and we had under 16.
Okay.
All these guys were being scouted all through the country. It becomes a pool. You keep them at the FIFA Technical Center. That is where Nwankwo was this one playing in Leicester City that was dropped. I saw them grow virtually.
Ihanacho.
Yes, Ihanacho. I saw them grow. Most times we are coming to train, you see them, looking at us. I saw them grow. I'm asking what happened to that program. Because you have coaches that go around the country to scout for these raw talents. They are here, even in Oka. If I stay in Oka in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, I can pick guys that can play for under 17. Because I have eyes for good footballers, especially at that young age. So what happened to those programs? Those programs should come up. We have coaches everywhere scouting for these players. We form it into a pool. They come to the national team. They play. We have under 15 now that went to Japan or somewhere to play recently. But what now happens to their graduation? That's what I'm asking. You keep a player from under 13 to under 15, and by the time he's supposed to graduate to under 17 to come over to the World Cup, you're bringing in other people from nowhere. Okay. At the end of the day, they failed MIR. You're running about to look for players. Meanwhile, you've kept players for 3-4 years in Abuja, and you're not using it.
Okay, so you're trying to say that because Aigbogun complained about the players. I mean, FIFA, of course, came out and players, this particular players didn't qualify for the MRS contest. Are you trying to say that most of those players that failed were players brought from outside and not players that were groomed?
No, MR works with under 17. Under 17. Under 20 is your passport that determines your age. But MR is for the under 17. Some of those that failed the MIR test in under 17, there was a latest scandal that followed one guy. They said he failed.
Yeah.
His parents had to go
check him. Yeah, I had that.
He was under 5. It was not really I don't want to go into those skirmishes, believe me. If I go into it, I might say things, I might go way off board here and say things that shouldn't be said.
All right,
but unfortunately, we are not sincere about these things. It's just the truth. Until we begin to add some elements of sincerity in it, then we'll begin to get the best. Believe you me. Now, when FIFA introduced under 17, under 20, it wasn't a do or die thing. It's developmental. Like I always charge people, we went to Korea 2007, we won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Under 17. Was it? Yeah, under 17. We won
it was amazing.
Chris Santos was our highest scorer.
You know, I'm going to come to that, okay?
I
was going to ask that same question.
The guy he played with, Toni Kroos and the rest, they are still Real Madrid. Where is it today? I don't want to look at the age because there is so much pressure when it comes to African players.
Okay.
He's in the under 17 camp. He has started having pressure from home. And this pressure translates to the guys. It goes to the coaches. They want to pick people that are overaged, go to these competitions, win it, set it next 4 years. Maybe you beat an Argentina in that tournament. Set it next 4 years in the World Cup, Senior World Cup. They will beat you silly. These countries don't look at it as do or die affair. They look at it as testing those guys they have seen progressively, till they got there. But unfortunately, we see it as do or die. Even the do or die, we are now seeing it as we cannot even go past the first stage. So there's a fundamental problem.
All right. Well, just to let you know that this is quite amazing and interesting this morning because we are looking at sporting events around the world, especially we're focusing on Nigeria. Of course, right now, the AFCON 2019 is ongoing in Egypt, and we're going to be talking a whole lot of that. We started with the under-17, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. Their participation, and they just concluded the World Cup in Poland and how they actually performed. And we have a big fish in the house who is part of it, who has been in the game for a long while. He was actually the team manager of Flying Eagles of Nigeria in the year 2012-2013. Of course, likes of Emeruel, that is actually in the senior team right now, grew under him. And this is quite amazing because it's what we've always wanted to see, someone who starts from the cradle and, of course, gets promoted. Now, let me come back to you. Let's move a bit from the under 17 and let's talk about AFCON. It's the big one happening right now and people are watching it. Quickly, what is your assessment of the Nigerian team, the Super Eagles of Nigeria? How would you assess them? Because they've actually had the very first game against Burundi. They're preparing for Guinea today, later on today, probably, and from some minutes from now, the match will kick off. How would you assess their performance so far? Have the team been selected rightly? Everyone that's made the team to Egypt in the Super Eagles team, were they meant to make that team?
I think my patriotism will get
the better of you.
Now. Yeah. I follow the national team passionately, not because I am a Nigerian. Yeah, I should. It's our symbol of unity anywhere. But because of the players that are playing, that I watched play under 17 and under 20, Shehu grew under me, Shehu Abdullahi. In fact, he's one of the core men that anytime he comes into the country or they are playing,
he comes to see.
Before I came into the studio, I had a chat with him. Wished him luck for today.
Beautiful.
Now, I won't lie to you, I think those selected are meant to be there.
Okay.
What I cannot talk now is tactics, practice, and other behind the scene that happens, because what Nigerians see is when they file out 11-11 and you see guys playing. Yeah. But what happens behind the scene is what you don't see. But I always have a sneak preview of what happens. When the news came in that they didn't want to train because of
bonuses,
and the rest, I was taken aback. I wish I had Patrick Pascal, who is the team manager. I would have spoken to him, but unfortunately we couldn't talk because you don't allow such happen when it gets to this stage. Okay. You must nib it in the board. You must manage it very well. You micromanage it. But let me tell you the truth. Most times when you see players of the national team trying to foot drag on certain things, somebody is igniting the spark. Okay. Take it or you leave it. That's the way it works. Okay. I once had one of the backroom staff that engineered such thing when I was in your time. Yes, but I had to quell it. I had to quell it because you must present this national order to them, let them understand. Come to look at it, look at the players that came. Most of them are multi-millionaires.
I don't know. You know
So
what?
what bonus are we talking about? Yeah, a workman deserves
His wages.
wage. It's normal. You have to do it. But when some information filters into them, when some information filters into these players, you see them behaving that way. Is there any bonus CAF gave to us for qualifying? And these are things you discuss with these players before you go into the competition proper. If you don't do these things, it will still haunt you, it will still get back to you. You will still get all these issues. We had it during Enyama, they refused to leave their hotel, and it's still coming every day. Now, NFF is saying government money has not gotten to them, all this. When do you start preparing for these monies to get to you? You know you're going for African Nations Cup in 2 years, you begin now. Yeah, I understand the TSA before money comes in, clearance and the rest, but if we are sincere, we have sponsors sponsoring this team. We had a Nike deal that people said we are not receiving anything from Nike and some other things. We could find a way to make these things clear it before the government money comes in. But everybody is waiting for that government money. So even the ones you have is surprised. Do we receive conventions from FIFA? What have we been doing with that money for some time? There are things I don't want to stoke the embers here.
Okay.
You understand me? But let me concentrate on the team. I think the team is good. Good. I will say good because I am not there to know what they are being fed tactically. Okay. I'm not there to know what they are being fed technically. But from the first match against Burundi, when the changes came up, you saw the goal. And it came. That was a tactical change as far as I'm concerned. And the issues and the news we heard before the first game, sicknesses here and there, didn't help us. Because if the guy that scored that goal, I don't know what he qualified to be on the bench. I didn't know why he didn't start the game. He's one of the best clinical finishers we have now. Okay. But the other guy that played the center forward for us, I wasn't kind with him. I wasn't kind with him on the social media. I was so hard on him because he was playing like a woman. But when the main man came in, you saw it. That pass from Aina was classical. The finishing was something else. Yeah. That's what we need. Our group per se, you don't look at teams as if they are nothing. Yeah. Africa is coming up. I've been watching all the games, and you see people play. You will be asking whether this is Tanzania, this is this. Yeah, you might subdue them later, but we shouldn't underrate anything. I think Burundi, our first half, we were not serious. Okay. Believe you me, until the game began tied up. Then we had to. Very strong rapper. Yes, very strong rapper. Then the changes came in.
A lot of Nigerians are not happy with the fact that the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho didn't make that team. Yes, we know he had a bad season in Leicester City. And of course, Brendan Rodgers, the coach of Leicester City, came out time and time again to say, I believe in this young man. He's got something. I'm going to work with him, and I know he's going to come out good. And at the end of the day, Gennaro made his decision, and he didn't make it to that team. And of course, a lot of rumors were also making the rounds when Samuel Carlo actually collapsed, in training, and people were saying he was going to make that team. But you, as a former team manager of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, do you think it was the right decision to drop Kelechi Iheanacho?
I'll be brutal with Kelechi this afternoon. Very, very brutal. It was proper to drop him. It was the best decision to drop him. And I'll give you my reasons. Young man, he plays very well. Plays good football. I watched him from under 15, if you remember what I told you.
Yeah, you did.
I watched him from under 15. Most times, when I call him, I tell him, the only thing that will shock your career is pride. The only thing that will shock your career if you don't look at where you're coming from. And I think the young man has been going a little bit gaga. Yeah, we saw him throughout in Leicester last season. He wasn't playing much. Forget about what Brendan Rodgers said. You believe in him, why not play him week in, week out? But every week he warms your bench. You believe in him. Yeah, he's a bundle of talent. But at times before this talent gets nurtured, gets fine-tuned, you that God gave the talent has a part and a role to play. And if you're not playing those roles, believe you me, talent here, it jumps on you. You don't do what you're supposed to do to make that talent come up all the time. The talent will begin to leave you. So I think it was good dropping him. Those that are hungry and desirous to be in the team are in the team. When the guy, had some problems, but thank God he's up again. He's on the reserve list. Kelechi shouldn't be on the reserve list if you check where he started.
That bad.
From Man City, then dropped to
Leicester City.
And if he leaves Leicester, believe you me, he might be going to one of Spurs.
But a lot of people are really calling for that if he has to play more football. Game time.
Yeah, game time, yeah, but the first step messed the whole thing up. Take it or you leave it.
But do you think he's leaving Manchester City was Kelechi's making, or the likes of Pep Guardiola with his handle of African players?
No, I don't want to go into handling of African players. Believe me. Okay, who could have Kelechi played in his stead in Manchester?
But he was doing good, if you agree with me.
No, he was. Even when they signed in Gabriel Jesus, he was doing good until he was quarantined too. He lost it. Believe you me, he lost it. It wasn't because of black players. Okay, now he came to Leicester. Rodgers loves black players. What happened? Did he not play in week out in Leicester? No, we saw him playing week in, week out in Leicester.
Because what actually made that statement was the likes of Eto'o has come out time and time again. Yaya Toure has come out time and time again to say Pep Guardiola don't like African players.
No, when you have super ego as a player, me and you know that Eto'o is a super ego player.
Yaya Toure.
Yaya Toure is super ego. Then you have a coach that is an egomaniac. No, you cannot be under him. You have to leave.
Very good.
I'm looking at coming to poach talent here. Probably have a little bit academy where I can groom younger players. I have eyes for them. It wouldn't be so much difficult for me to push them into the national pool. Getting them, then probably extending to other sports like athletics. I play table tennis too very well,
beautiful.
So I have eye for that. I'm here for a kind of a feasibility study. I have other meetings. That's why you saw me here.
Okay.
I have other meetings, and by the grace of God, it's going to materialize so that I can give back a bit to the society.
All right.
What I have done largely, for Nigeria. Let's start from here. The charity begins at home, and before we can expand it.
Well, of course, you've heard it from the man himself. Anambra were mad. I don't know where to start, but of course, you heard about what Mary Onyali has done for herself, for Nigeria generally. And right now, she is a sports ambassador in Anambra State. You can imagine what she's going to bring into sport and development in the state. And of course, we also have Chika Nwankwo, a former team manager of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria in the year 2012-2013. And he says he wants to come back home more, do a whole lot, like, bringing an academy, building an academy, trying to get those players and catch them young, because he has eyes for good players at the very tender age. And it's not going to be a problem for him to push them into the national team. Well, what more can we say? We just have to be here, do our very best, support him the best we can, and of course hope that Anambra continues to be great as always. And also a very big thank you to Chika Nwankwo, ex-team manager of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria in the year 2012-2013 on Sports Today, a special edition of the program Sports Today. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
And we hope that as you move from here, things become much more better and the plans will definitely materialize.
No, you guys are doing good. What I'm seeing here is I'm highly elated.
Yeah.
I was here 2012. Yeah, I was here 2012.
You know how it was.
I know.
So kudos to the governor.
Kudos to the governor. He's doing well. I would not lie to you. I'm happy. I'm happy because that's the essence. You come in, you're secured. You come in, you have the amenities that are there for you to make life easy. That's what we're looking for, nothing more. Amenities that will make life easier for you when you come in.
All right, thank you so very much, Chika Nwankwo, former team manager of the Flying Eagles of Nigeria in the year 2012-2013. Well, this is it, and we're calling it a date on this special edition of the program Sports Today. I'm a Berry Ugonna. Keep sporting, be healthy. Bye for now.